Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be going over the 5 best DLC attackers in Rainbow Six Siege. Now in case you're wondering why this video won't encompass the Pathfinder operators, it's because I feel like the decisions you make with buying DLC operators is much more important because they can cost up to 25 times more than a single Pathfinder op can. However, if you would like me to make a video like this on Pathfinder ops as well, then do let me know down in the comments below. But with all that said, on with the video. Now I'm going to start off this list with a couple of honourable mentions that didn't quite make the top 5, the first of which is going to be Hibana. Now don't get me wrong, Hibana is a great operator, she's just basically only good at getting hatches and not really anything else. Other than that, her weapons are great though, and she is one of the cheapest DLC ops at 10,000. But in terms of what she brings in comparison to other operators that are going to be further down this list, I'm sorry but she didn't really make the cut. And the other honourable mention is going to be Buck. Buck's in a similar boat to Hibana where they're a great op by themselves, but kind of fall behind when compared to other operators that do similar things. In Buck's case, it's Sledge. Sledge might have a slower ability, but he also has nades. The only real advantage that Buck has is that he can do it faster and he can do it upwards, but when you compare that to having nades, it really doesn't trade off. However, just like Hibana, he does have a great primary weapon, and is one of the cheapest ops, again at 10,000 renown. So he's definitely worth a look if maybe you've already got some of the operators that I'm going to mention later on. And with that, we're going to move on to the 5th spot of the list, which is going to be Nomad. When putting together this list, Nomad was a no-brainer for me, because being able to block off 3 either runouts or flank watches is just way too good to not get a mention on this list. In terms of secondary gadgets, all she really has is stun grenades and breach charges, which are both good in their own right, but it's really not the highlight of her kit whatsoever. As I mentioned before, her air jabs are just crazy. Placing them behind you means that you don't need to have someone watching behind, because you can just either hear for the air jab going off, or you can hear for someone shooting it out. Because her ability is so good, her weapons kind of fall behind a little bit. Her pistols are both fine, I mean one comes with an ACOG, so I mean, is that a plus? But as for primaries, you have one that runs out of bullets in 2 seconds but does a bit of damage, and another that doesn't do a lot of damage but can do that. Regardless of what weapon you bring, you'll probably still find some success with Nomad, and being a 10k op, there was no doubt in my mind that she'd make it somewhere on this list. At the number 4 spot, we have an operator that has just gotten a huge secret buff that no one is talking about. That operator is Yana. Now we'll get to that secret buff in a sec, but first let's talk about her Gemini replicator. This thing is basically just a drone that has infinite uses. When you combine this near infinite droning capability with the nades that she also brings, Yana can set you up for so many free kills that it's actually insane. However, unfortunately, she does come at a bit of a higher price tag at 15k renown. In my opinion though, I bought her when she was 20k, and I think I've gotten every penny's worth. Now, about that secret buff. Yana's weaponry has never been a highlight of her kit, much like Nomad's hasn't. In fact, she even brings the same weapon as Nomad. Her other weapon is Ash's G36C, which would tend to be the better option for most players. Before this season, you had the choice of the Reflex, which is decent, and what I personally used, or there was Dog 1 and Dog 2. With Year 7 Season 1, every 1x scope is available on every weapon now, and so now Yana can use any 1x scope she wants on the G36C. So in my opinion, that is a humongous buff that no one is talking about. Taking all that into account, you can probably see why Yana made it on this list. Next up on the list at number 3, it's going to be Maverick. Maverick has a great weapon, frag grenades, and an ability that literally has no counter whatsoever. That might sound hyperbolic, but it's literally true. There is nothing stopping Maverick from breaching a wall, besides maybe a couple bullets and a C4. Or maybe his own incompetence. Maverick's M4 is... well, it's an M4. Yeah, I mean, it's good. The breaching torch, as I said before, literally has no counter whatsoever. However, most of the time you're not really going to be wanting to use him as a primary hard breacher. He almost acts more of a Thatcher or a Cali sometimes. But if he wanted to, he could get a main wall all by himself. He can also do the same with hatches. All of those capabilities, along with the fact that he has frag grenades, and at the price of 10,000 renown, easy pick for me. In the penultimate spot, we have another 10,000 renown op, Zofia. The 2 impact grenades that she brings, you can use in a multitude of ways. You could use them as simple soft destruction, or you could destroy bulletproof gadgets with them, and if there's a couple of ADSs in the way, then just shoot a couple of concussion mines in there to burn it, and then use your impact grenade. Speaking of those concussion mines, if they land within proximity of someone, then they will detonate instantly, giving Zofia basically a recon on where someone can be, if it detonates quicker than usual. To think that Zofia used to have 4 concussion mines and whip stand and 0 recoil on her primary weapon is really just insane to me. Speaking of that weapon though, it's still good, despite its damage and recoil nerfs. It's just a little bit harder to use now. And there is always the LMG if you wanna, you know. As far as secondary gadgets go, she has the Claymore and something else. Maybe breach charges, I don't know. That's not really the draw to Zoff whatsoever. She's a great operator, she's easy to use, and no one will ever complain that you ever pick her. Go out and buy her now, only 10k. But now, the operator that I deem to be the best DLC attacker in Rainbow Six Siege, many of you have probably already guessed, is going to Ace. Ace's Selma hard breach, while not as self-oriented as Maverick's is probably the best hard breach in the game. The hard breaches themselves are great, but the way that he deploys them is even better. Unlike Thermite, he can throw them and then they'll begin to detonate instantaneously. The fact that he throws them also allows him to put them higher up on a wall, so if there's a mute jammer on the wall, then he can put his Selmas just out of reach so that they can still detonate. The one thing that Thermite's exothermics have over Ace's Selma is really when it comes to hatches. But if you're using both of your exothermic charges on Thermite on hatches, then you're probably doing something wrong. After everything I've said, I mean, hell, the only thing that would make this guy better is if he had like the best gun in the game or something. Wait, what? Yeah. Ace for some reason has the AK-12. I don't know why either. But now here's the main reason why a lot of new players don't have Ace, and that's because he's currently priced at 20k renown. Is the utility that he brings worth that price? Yeah, definitely. Next season, in Year 7 Season 2, he will be reduced down to the same price as Yana at 15k, so if you're willing to wait that long, or if you're viewing this in the future, then maybe he's a better deal for you now. But anyway guys, that's gonna do it for this video. I hope you all enjoyed, and thank you for getting this far into the video. If you enjoyed this video, then be sure to subscribe for another video like this every single week. But that's it from me for now. I'll catch you in the next one.